Jonathan Barkhan with DreadCentral.com, and I'm here with Jay Duplass and Sophie Thatcher for Prospect. How are the two of you doing?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. I get to be here in Austin at South by. It's a wonderful festival, and I'm having a great time. Jay, how are you?
I'm pretty great, man. I love it here. I love coming back.
I love this getup, by the way. It's very relaxed.
Thanks, man.
So, yep.
I'm just trying to chill.
Yeah. So diving straight into the movie, something that I noticed is that there are a lot of bulky costumes. There's a lot of things that you've got to wear, and obviously that's going to have an impact on your performance. So how did you have to work around being in such an environment where you're wearing these costumes?
Well, immediately I feel like it helped to transform me into my character, but obviously it took a while to adjust to the costume and especially the helmet itself, because we had difficulties within our first week with just like breathing with our visor on. So we obviously got used to it, but it was more difficult with the long lines. But yeah, we were working through it a lot the first week.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It was definitely a challenge at first, but at the same time, it wasn't anything that we were trying to escape from. I think, honestly, for me, it just settled me into what we were doing more because, you know, trudging around the forest in a spacesuit is what our characters are doing. It was really hard, though. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, just helmets were heavy, hard to breathe, fogging up the masks. It's an uncontrolled rainforest. We're tripping over shit all the time, and trying to remember like a lot of lines with like space jargon.
Yeah.
It was very challenging.
So it sounds like that kind of experience with those costumes puts you in a certain kind of position because it's unavoidable. You're probably going to get frustrated. You're going to get angry. You're going to get irritable.
Yes.
And so how did that impact your performances and even the relationship between the two of you on and off screen?
My character was fussy as shit, so
Yeah.
it was perfect for me. I
Wasn't
was
acting.
just like letting it out. And you know, in terms of how it affected our relationship, I don't know. I mean, I think especially once we get into the forest, like our relationship is very perfunctory. It's just like you know, this is what needs to happen to do what we need to do, so we don't get killed. Yeah.
And obviously this film is sci-fi, and it's even labeled on South by's website as sci-fi western. But sci-fi can often have a lot of elements that are horror adjacent, and that's what our audience really relates to.
Yeah.
So with the tension and the kind of relationship that's going on, and then the fight for survival and the coming-of-age stories, it seems like there's a lot of opportunity here for our audience to find something unsettling and to empathize with it. Can you tell me a bit about that?
I mean, there are a bunch of different aspects that I find to be just like hard to watch through. Like I saw it yesterday for the first time, and there's like a claustrophobic aspect to it, and it's, I don't know, I think it's a really interesting experience.
Yeah, it's like a long, slow burn, but there are
It's a
definitely
long-
elements of horror and
Yeah.
the tone and the vibe. You know that terrible things are possible, and the movie certainly plays with some of those scary things. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And that kind of tension can lead to some really amazing emotional experiences with the audience. And we're seeing that in a lot of the elevated sci-fi movies that have been coming out with Annihilation, with Ex Machina. And I'm wondering how you feel that this movie kind of compares to those versus something like, I don't know, the Wing Commander or, you know, the more jovial, relaxed sci-fi fare.
I've definitely thought about Ex Machina when I was first like reading this script, because it's like it's like three characters basically, primarily, and but I would say that the difference with these guys is, you know, I would say first and foremost, they're builders of a world, and they are incredibly immersive. I mean, like Ex Machina really kind of happens a lot in the basement of a house, but this is, you know, we're in spaceships, we're in a forest that's on another planet. There are everything is designed by these guys, and the story is very informed by the world and by the environment, just by virtue of that. You know, we were talking
the
about
perspective is from a little girl.
Yeah.
So that's already sets it apart from a bunch of different movies, and I love that.
And how do you think that perspective changes it and does set it apart from what else we are seeing?
I think it makes it a little bit more horrifying just because you see it from her eyes. And yeah, I don't know how to add on to that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a vulnerable place.
It's much more vulnerable, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And as I asked before, but it seems like we're having a tough answer to this one, how can fans see this? Well, let's say at South by, while they're here, what other screenings do we have coming up?
We're screening again tonight around 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and then one on Wednesday, I think.
Oh, good.
Right?
You know stuff.
I think so, but I'm going to be gone. I'm leaving tomorrow.
You leaving tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is next for the both of you? What's next on your plate? So,
I have a couple projects up in the air, but I can't really say anything yet. So,
No?
I mean, we'll see.
are you excited about them?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Jay, what about you?
I have another movie here at the festival called Outside In, and it stars Edie Falco and myself, and it's directed by Lynn Shelton. So that's also shot in Seattle, or outside of Seattle in Washington State. So that's, I guess, my next imminent thing, and it's actually releasing theatrically March 30th. And on
Congratulations.
VOD. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I want to thank you both very much for coming out, Jay, Sophie. Congratulations on a wonderful film, and I can't wait to see what happens with it. Thanks so much for checking out this interview. We want to thank our sponsors, Dark Sky Films, Shudder, and Epic Pictures for their support. Also, a big thanks go out to South by Southwest Convention for having us here. To subscribe to our channel for amazing content, go ahead and click right here. To follow all of our South by Southwest coverage, you want to follow this playlist. To see amazing exclusive horror clips, click here, and make sure to get the very best in horror news by going to dreadcentral.com. Thank you so much.